All right, Reds, welcome along to Forever United TV, your evening update show. Everything going on with Manchester United, we have got you covered. This morning we went into detail about Manchester United's hunt for a striker and what Fabrizio Romano said. Then we moved on to what Ornstein said about Marcus Rashford's exit from Manchester United, potentially opening up the avenue to buy that new striker with the funds from that deal, whether it's a loan or a sale. This evening we're on to BRYAN Mbeumo. It's about time we talked about BRYAN Mbeumo. It's Tuesday. In less than a week, Man United are in pre-season training. The only way I get stressed and a little bit anxious about this deal, like I've said all along, is if he isn't walking into pre-season training next week with the rest of this squad. Then I get concerned. Then I start to hear a lot of things online and people talking about this deal is still going to get done. There is no problem. And I'm happy with that. I think it will get done, honestly, I do. But where are we actually at? What's actually going on right now? You've got Sky driving the drama because there's nothing else to talk about in bringing on the sporting director of Brentford just to talk about Brentford's BRYAN Mbeumo wanting to stay if no deal is made. Only a deal on their side is worth it, and that's the only one that they're going to accept. All of that palaver. Well, tonight we have got updates on Mbeumo, which I want to talk about, and it's Manchester United now putting pressure on. The frustration is growing that the deal isn't done with the fan base. Of course it is. Manchester United are still confident they can get the deal that they want. And in answering questions over this last week, people have always said to me, why are you even backing this? It's taken so long to negotiate. And I've always said the same thing. And you know what I've said all along with it. I've just said, look, the United feel like they can get a better deal. And as long as he's in before pre-season, why not try and get that better deal? Take it all the way to the end. It's not going to stop Man United getting other deals sorted. They're still going to try and get players out of the door. And that can be negotiated. But with Brentford, we're in talks this weekend. We're in talks yesterday. And more talks today. But this now apparently is their last line of talks. This is the last meeting for Manchester United to finalise this deal. Brentford want 60 million up front. That's been the restructure all along from when it was supposedly rejected at weekend. It really wasn't. It's just been reconstructed into a way that suits Brentford, where most of it is going to be up front. Now, that bid has to go more than Matheus Cunha's. We know that. And the bid has to go up to close around 65 with the add-ons. That is all it is. It's not going to be 70 million and what Brentford wants. Manchester United are in and around the 65 million mark with everything included. And we've talked about this in detail. But these talks, and this is from an account online, I'll tell you who it is in a minute, but this is what they have written or what they have actually said. Manchester United have maintained constant and direct dialogue with Brentford every day over the past few days. It's expected that the final bid and agreement will be coming soon. That's the expectation. I'd be surprised if we didn't hear anything today or tomorrow, that being today and tomorrow. Really surprised. If not, then I really start to worry. That's not concerning at all, is it? There's been a lot of optimism in wrapping up the deal this week and pushing it through. If not, then I'd start to worry about this one. It needs to happen this week, and the expectation is that we'll be able to reach an agreement this week. I've not heard anything to say that isn't the case. That a new offer isn't expected. It is, all I've heard is optimism in getting it done this week and getting him and Mbeumo ready for training on July 7th. Nothing to indicate a setback at all. Constant communication, constant dialogue, constant talking. I know a lot of United fans just want to get this deal done. I'm still comfortable with the situation and where it's at. It would just be nice to know exactly where we're up to at the moment, because it does seem to have gone a little bit quiet in terms of what's going on. How can you be in constant dialogue and constant communication and then have something rejected? It doesn't work that way. Something has to have been communicated, and United are probably not where Brentford want to be as a overall package and what they want from it. So realistically, Manchester United just need to tweak this to make it happen. And Brentford are going for the win. They want to be put up there as a victor in this transfer. They got what they wanted out of Manchester United. And I think that will just stem the sort of negative vibe going around Brentford at the moment. Like we've said before, with everybody leaving, they need to come away with some sort of a win in this situation. And if they get a few more millions, and it's more than what Matheus Cunha's deal was for Wolves, then they're going to be happy with that and they can move forward with it. But United, I don't think would go this far and walk away. I can't see United walking away from it at all. If Brentford say, look, No, and they keep moving the goalpost. It does seem like there is a bit of that going on. It seems like Brentford are constantly moving things around. Okay, if you're talking, and this is what I don't care. It's like, if you keep on talking, how can things not meet? You know what they want. You've upped the bid. You've got to where they wanted to get to, and then it changes again. No, we like the fee, but we don't like the add-ons. We like the fee, we like the add-ons, but we don't like the condition of the add-ons. And then we don't like the condition of the actual instalments now either, but the fee's still okay. The fee's still right, but we want that in 3 years instead of 4 years, when really we should be doing it over 5 years. This is what Man United are doing, because this will affect the PSR situation, because if it's in 3 instalments, then obviously that's going to be a lot more money every single year for Manchester United. Yes, you'll pay it off quicker and be in a better position in terms of selling Mbeumo, but we're not really looking to sell Mbeumo right now. So United are looking to spread this out over as many years as possible to make it financially attainable for them, I feel, and make it easier for them to meet the payments and what's necessary. So when you look at where we're at with this right now, and the words that have been said most often, it's the installments and the add-ons, and we've got the actual, well, the amount up front. So the amount up front is fine. It's how much of it they get within the time scale. The add-ons need to be clear. That's it. That's where we're at with this deal. Can United just get that done this week? I'm sure they can. And I just like, just get everything done. Just get the deal done. It's not difficult to finalise this right now. I understand trying to nick a few mil here and there for United, and I understand Brentford's side of it. But what we're looking at here is now, I think, just get something done so the fans can be at ease. Get something done because Ruben Amorim wants it done. He wants the players in. He wants it over the line. That's where we're at. This is all it's at. Like, the money's there. The deal is there. It's just a bit of squabbling over a couple of million in terms of which way it goes and that. I've asked the same people that have been talking about this positively before. I've seen the same come out from Fabrizio Romano. Him himself actually said, when we talked about it after the initial so-called rejection, said himself on his video that this wasn't a rejection. It was just a restructuring of the deal. We know that BRYAN Mbeumo has signed his contract. We know that he is ready to go pretty much. Well, he's not signed it. He can't sign it until the agreement's in. But he's agreed the terms and he's ready to move to Manchester United. One story today online saying that BRYAN Mbeumo has already got his bags packed and ready to go to United. We know it's going to happen. Like, the word of BRYAN Mbeumo ready to go, the way that this has gone with everyone saying that they're still confident of getting this deal done, it just sounds very, very complex. This whole deal sounds like it's a bit of an ordeal, to be honest, for Manchester United. I think United have gone in and expected this to be a smooth transaction. I think they've gone in and thought, it's BRYAN Mbeumo, we're going to get him done. He's got 1 year left on his contract. This shouldn't be a difficult one. But like everybody, and this is the problem Man United have got, when United come to town, everybody tries to shaft us. They try to get more out of the deal. It's like when we were talking about Karnaseki, the goalkeeper at Atalanta the other day. As soon as Manchester United were rumoured to be in, it went up by 10 million. People keep on doing this, and I keep saying this all along. If United are down, nobody's going to help us out. Everybody's going to kick United while they're down, because they know if we get it right, then we're going to absolutely smash everybody again. They don't want that to happen, so why should they help us? And I've said this all along. Well done, Brentford, for getting the better deal. Well done, Brentford, for actually getting this over the line. I feel like now we're in a position where it's just a case of give Ruben his man and let's get on with it. That's where I'm at right now with this anyway, and I think this is where most people are. And the frustration is the fans, United and their people negotiating this, really haven't got a concern with it at all. They're happy to take this for as long as they can, but the word is, internally, Manchester United do have a deadline set on this one, and they do know when they want to pull out of it if it gets to that stage. Don't worry, it's not thought to be getting to that stage, but it is actually a frustration for the fans. United will keep on holding out until they get what they think is a good deal over the line. And look, we're dealing with some shrewd operators here, I think, in Brentford. And I think they are doing a good job at it. The fact that this deal has now got to this stage, I think is definitely a sign that Manchester United have met their match when it comes to getting the deal negotiated to what level they want, it's a tough one. But let's get some comments in on this as well, everybody. Spirit says, Brentford are bordering on being disrespectful to us. A peanut club having its day in the sun. Come on, BRYAN, kickstart off your end. BRYAN has done so much for the Bees. Be prepared to walk United. I don't think it's at that stage, but yeah, you just said it there in a little bit. They're having their day in the sun. They're in a big transfer. It's going to be a record transfer. This, I feel, is exactly where Manchester United need to be. They need to be standing their ground. They need to be in position to, I think, set the tone for everything that's to come. That's what it needs to be, I feel. And to be honest, I just feel like right now, it's only going to benefit what happens in the future. I just think it's going to be, personally, a win for United later down the line, rather than what it looks like right now, which is Brentford having their day in the sun, like the comments said. What I think is happening now is the future of Manchester United, in discussions internally at Manchester United, has been set the stall out. Make this the day, make this the summer that we have drawn a line under everything. Clubs need to know that you cannot just take Manchester United for a ride. Clubs need to know exactly where Manchester United are actually at. That's the thing. I look at it and I say right now, for us as a football club, I think it's important that we realise where we're at and what's gone wrong before. And this, I think, is exactly where Manchester United need to be. And I think we need to make sure that that message has gone out clearly to every other club in the Premier League, that United right now, I feel, are a changed club. And when it comes to negotiations, when it comes to everything that Manchester United are, I think, and what we was, it's important that everyone at Manchester United is on the same page for that reason. And I think what we're saying here is, honestly, I haven't got an issue with it. I haven't got a problem with Manchester United paying Brentford now, but in the process have drawn this saga out to a level where at least we have actually told Brentford that you're not going to get what you want straight away, that we're not just going to pay like we did seasons ago for Mason Mount. I think this is the important bit for Manchester United, because we need to make sure that when we go into our next deal, this is what people are going to be thinking about. We need to make sure that people are thinking about United, and negotiating with us isn't going to be the cakewalk that it once was. Honestly, this is why I'm probably more happy that we've drawn this BRYAN and Mbeumo deal out. I get the frustrations from all of the fans. I do understand where Manchester United are actually at. Where Man United fans are actually at with it, and like it going on for a bit longer than what we thought. But I think Brentford have just fought on this one. Look, it's our star player. It's Manchester United. It's our first chance to make a bit of a scene about something and get some extra money. And we're going to go for it. We're just going to stand firm. We're in no panic at all. They've just lost two big parts of their club. They're not going to lose another one on the cheap. That, I feel, is where they're actually at with it. So when we're looking at it, I just say for Manchester United right now, take this little loss, if it looks like Brentford have won, for the bigger and longer gain. That's how I see it anyway. I just look at this and say, now, as a fan base, look to the future. Look what it means further down the line. And I'll stick by that. I will stick by that. There's lots of news coming out at the moment, constantly, all the time. I'm going to keep you updated with everything that's going on. Sorry, there's a million things going around my desk at the moment with a load of stuff going on. I'm just trying to keep a track of everything. Nobody's taking Man United for a ride. The price set by Brentford clear since May. United trying to knock that price down. The days of bullying Premier League clubs over since 10 years ago. Yeah, they are trying to take United for a ride, mate. I don't know where you get that from, Gareth, because BRYAN and Mbeumo isn't worth the money that Brentford want for him. He's worth whatever someone's willing to pay for him, and that's where the negotiations happen. If BRYAN and Mbeumo was going to any other Premier League club, they wouldn't be paying, or this transfer wouldn't have been negotiated where it is. I can guarantee it, mate. They are trying to take United for a ride. United haven't bullied anybody. United haven't bullied anybody, like you said, for 10 years. This has been Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill left. This has been everything at the football club, and that's been going on. So, realistically, United right now are trying to change the past. They're trying to change the decade which has destroyed this football club. And it does start with minor little details. And that's where we're at. Are you okay, Adam? Get a drink of water and put a fan on. You look like you're going to pass out. Not taking the piss. You just seem a bit flustered. Trust me, mate, if you knew what was going on in the background as well, you'd understand, but don't worry about it. I'm totally fine, mate. United should have been prepared to pivot from Delap and now Mbeumo, but we can't because everyone is so tight and the lack of boldness. Chelsea would pivot and our leverage with 3 other options. Chelsea in a better position with Champions League football and a sold women's team and hotel and all that clear pathway for PSR in front of them. United buried themselves into a PSR nightmare hole with no ladders to get out. That's United's situation right now. 65 million's a bargain for Mbeumo, says Alan. Yeah, I mean, you look at it, like, what is... To be honest, though, I don't think we've ever asked this question, have we? How much is BRYAN Mbeumo actually worth? How much is he worth to people in the chat? That's something that I feel you've got to take into consideration as well here. We're looking at something that we feel has dragged on a little bit. Manchester United could be happy with this. They probably had a valuation on him, and I feel like this, actually... Right now, I think it's either way. If you pay 3 million more, you're still getting an absolute quality ready-made Premier League player. But why not try? Why not try to actually get the deal that you want? That's where United are at anyway. Fenerbahce never had any concrete contact to sign Jadon Sancho, as they believe it's impossible to proceed with this deal. The player is pushing to continue in the top European leagues. That from Fabrizio Romano recently on Jadon Sancho. Don't really want to talk about him tonight. He is a player that I think is going to go to Italy at some point. We discussed it earlier on. Juve are still trying to get Jadon Sancho done, and Manchester United are obviously in negotiations with Juve. I just can't see anything other than a loan deal for him. I really can't. I'm just going to read you through the latest news on the BRYAN Mbeumo situation from a few different accounts. So hold on to your hats with this one. Let's just get into everything that has been said. So we just talked about that one there, which was from another account about be very surprised if nothing happens in the next 2 days. Then we're moving on to the Daily Mail, which is saying... And this is Simon Jones. Manchester United are optimistic about finalising a deal with Brentford for BRYAN Mbeumo before the end of this week. Please, that would be nice. We do need that security blanket in. This is another one that has just come across my computer now. And this was from Sean Connolly earlier on as well, who says, Manchester United have entered into what they believe will be a significant final sitting for BRYAN Mbeumo. So this is what I was saying before. The previous offer of 55 plus 7.5 in add-ons, 62.5 million is well documented. Brentford tabled a desire to surpass Matthias Cunha and achieve closer to 70 million. The third offer in the region of 60 plus achievable bonuses will not only exceed the amounts paid to Wolves, but allow Brentford's a public victory during times of adversity. Pretty much and similar to what we were saying before. This, I think, is where Manchester United now have to just accept this is what's happening. I think this is where we need to accept that Brentford will feel like they've got a little win out of it. And Brentford will feel like they have won the day. But really, Manchester United have got the quality player. He's in for Ruben Amorim. And the rebuild has well and truly started for Manchester United. This is the win. This is the bigger picture. This is why Manchester United need to just get this deal over the line. So Ruben's got his top targets. Now, I keep going back to that interview or that press conference that Ruben had when he said 2 top targets for Man United, 2 big players to come in. This, I think, is these 2 players. I said this earlier on this morning. I don't actually think that there's much more to come in significant-wise. Romano then backed that up and said that Manchester United are actually not going to spend big on a striker. So that, for me, took out the Victor Gyökeres situation. It took out Hugo Ekitike. I can now cancel them players off. I don't think United will be getting them. Now, Benjamin Sesko has pretty much already signed for Arsenal. That was the news circulating today. So Benjamin Sesko to Arsenal, João Pedro to, obviously, Chelsea, 2 other clubs in the Prem that are looking for a striker. The only one left is Liverpool. I don't see Liverpool going for Ollie Watkins. I don't. There's been more and more talk about Ollie Watkins today and more doing the rounds. And we are going to get into this conversation again now. What Ollie Watkins will bring Manchester United on top of BRYAN Mbeumo. This isn't going to happen until right at the end of the window. This isn't going to happen, I don't think, the striker, until August. Man United right now are fixed on these two alone and then pre-season. I'm telling you, don't expect to see anyone else on the pre-season tour this month at all. I'm setting it. Will be plenty of players leaving and loads of news going around about potential deals. But I don't think Manchester United can register anybody until we actually sell these players. So July is going to be mental busy in terms of moving players around and making room. And then United will go again. I don't actually think that the money is the major issue here for United. I don't think it's a case of transfer fees. I think we've got the money. I just think we wanted more wages off the book and more room in the squad to bring these players in. Now, if United cannot get players out of the door, that's a massive problem for Ruben Amorim. He needs the space in the squad to bring other players in. Did you listen to what Diego Leon, for instance, was talking about earlier on? Did you listen to what he was saying? When asked about going out on loan or featuring in Manchester United's academy, his mentality was, that's not how I think. I want to come in, I want to train, we're going to pre-season, and within 2 days, 2 games, I'm going to show that I belong in Manchester United's first team. That pretty much is this 18-year-old's mentality. And that's the type of player Ruben wants within his squad. But like I said before, if United don't move players on, you've got Dalot there, you've got Ahmad on one side, you've got Dorgu, you've got Amas. There's too many players in Manchester United's squad. When you go into the front line, you're still going to have Jadon Sancho, you've got Marcus Rashford, you've got Alejandro Garnacho, you've got Tyrell Malacia. There's another fullback to deal with for Manchester United. There's 4 straight off the bat. You've got Anthony there as well. You've got 5. You're looking at the situation with Rasmus Højlund and with Onana as well. 6, 7 players there that Manchester United really could do with moving out so we can make room for other players coming in. That, I think, is when we're going to start seeing Manchester United register players or even bring the players through the door. I don't see United actually going absolutely mental in bringing players in the first couple of weeks of July. I think we're going to be going crazy about getting players out, and I think we'll see a big emphasis from United going forward now on getting these duck eggs out the bleeding door. I think that's what United need to be doing now. But hey, look, let's get plenty of comments in on this now and where we're actually at with everything, how you see it happening with BRYAN Mbeumo. Talk to me about Watkins as well. I'm just opening it up to the chat so we can have a good old debate at the moment. Get some comments in if you've got any questions as well. Please hit me up with them. Block him with a super chat. Thank you, mate. So, Adam, if we are a changed club, as you say, do you think that we have the balls to walk away from this deal at this stage? I suspect not. Would you walk away, Sean? That's the question I would ask. If you know it's a couple of million, you can afford it, would you walk away? Because Ruben wants this player. A changed football club, for me, is getting the right player in for Ruben Amorim. Getting the man in that he needs. His big signings. At least these 2 done. I think this is what he was promised. I think this is what United will deliver. I don't necessarily think United will walk away. And I don't necessarily think that is Man United changing. I think, yeah, in a way you could say that. But I think changing Manchester United is actually getting Mbeumo in and done. And getting these 2 players in very early. We've never been in a position like this where we're heading into training and 2 massive players are already signed and done. This has never happened at Manchester United. And I think this sends a massive signal to everybody else in the squad. It's like, oh, hang on. They've actually got 2 players in already. Whereas before, everyone strolls in. Everyone gets a second chance at Carrington. Look what I've been doing. Marcia's the latest one today to post himself with his shirt off training. Don't give a shit, mate. I said it about Cobby the other day. I'm happy that he's training with Lenny Yoro. I feel like that's a change there straight away that he's out training with him. But again, players coming back to pre-season at United back in the day, they're all thinking that, you know what, this is just normal. We're back to what it was. Back to how United used to be. The fact that we've got 2 big names coming in, I think is a significant change on its own. And I think that's something that hasn't happened before. Adam, is there any news on midfielders? Midfielders, not today. Not today, mates. There is nothing significant out there in the news about any midfielder for Manchester United coming in anyway. But this isn't going to change until, sorry, like I said before, I don't think that we are looking here at anything happening until we get significant players out. I don't think right now. I don't think right now Manchester United will bring any midfielder in. I said this before. I don't think anyone will bring anything in until after. Sorry, what was I saying then? No, I don't think we'll bring anybody in worth more than 30 million quid in midfield. I don't think that will happen at all. I think Manchester United have got a budget on certain players, midfielders. I think this is why we're looking at Luiz. I said this earlier on. I think this is why we're looking at Polina. Potentially Richard Rios as well, a player that Manchester United could get. I think they're all of the same sort of price bracket. And then the money that's left over will be what Romano's talked about this morning, which is that opportunist moment for bringing in a striker. I think that's what it is. I think what we're looking at right now, honestly, I can't see anything happening with United that's realistically, for me, going to make any difference right now. I don't. When it comes to midfielders, I would like to see, as I've said all along, I would like to see the likes of, I'd like to see Polina come in. I like the younger types of players. There is a lot of news today about what I was speaking earlier on about Sekou Kone. Sekou Kone could be a player that ends up going to Lausanne. I think that, for United, smart, yes. I want results out of Kone. I'm expecting 19, 20-year-olds to actually be ready to come into the first team. I think that's when you need to start hitting your mark. And if they're not, then it starts to thinking, for me, that you need to start thinking, are these players worth anything? Are these players actually going to be anything for Manchester United in the first team at all? I'm happy with Kone going out on loan. I think that would work for this one season. I would be really happy with Chido going out on loan as well, as long as we've got striker cover. I don't see Rasmus Højlund, like I said earlier on, leaving. And an interesting one on the Rasmus one was up on Sky earlier on as well. And it was saying that the interest in Ollie Watkins from Manchester United isn't related to moving Rasmus Højlund on. I don't think it matters, is what they were saying. Rasmus is still going to stay, which kind of aligns with what we were saying all along. We need another striker on top of Rasmus Højlund. I think that, for me, is where Manchester United realistically should be looking. Two strikers, then you've got the versatile one in Xerxes, and then Chido can go out on loan. We get a midfielder in, Kone can go out on loan. Two brilliant players who have performed exceptionally well at Man United's academy level, out on loan, learning their trade before making their mark later down the line. It's exactly where Manchester United need to be. I think that needs to be our target. It does. No, Jazira has gone to AC Milan, mate. Sorry, I don't know if you didn't see that news earlier on. It was another midfield United were looking at. Here we go. Earlier on, Romano confirmed it. He's an AC Milan player, I'm afraid. Mr Dacia Zandero says, I personally think we will get Mbeumo, a keeper, to challenge Anana, which won't be difficult, and Watkins. Can't see us getting a midfielder unless it's a loan deal. We have to shift players quickly. So this is where Manchester United are at with Watkins. It's that type of striker is going to have to come cheap enough for Manchester United, I feel. I don't think we're going to spend any more than 40 million on a striker. Just my opinion, but going off the numbers and going off what people have been reporting, I don't think United want anybody that's worth more than that, or can afford anybody that's worth more than that. We know all the ones that are. This is why we went for Liam Delap, I feel, because it gave us the chance to actually go out and get Mbeumo and Cunha and bring Delap in. That was the opportunity striker that Romano was talking about. Can you get Watkins for 30 million? From what's being said, no, you can't. Could you have got Watkins with a deal with Marcus Rashford going the other way? Yes, you probably could. But that's what United were discussing, and Marcus Rashford has KO'd that potential deal happening. So we can't get that done either. So what you're looking at now is Manchester United waiting to see if something pops up, to see if a deal actually rears its head out there for United to go for. But when United say they're waiting for an opportunity, and when the right player comes around, they'll pounce onto that, they'll deal with that. We've always said this, but when United say this, it usually means for me that we're not actually going to get one. No, I don't want to rain anyone's parade here or ruin anyone's day by saying that, but with my reality hat on right now, I can really see there being a Xerxes, Rasmus, Cunha and Mbeumo rotation in and around that number 9 and number 10 respectively next season. I can see that happening. I can. United could indeed then go out and get the midfielder that we need and the goalkeeper. I don't think the striker is out there that United want. That's my honest opinion. I just don't think he's there. They would take Watkins, but I don't think we can get a deal done with Aston Villa that suits Manchester United's bank account. Definitely not. IMAGO as well. That deal apparently is not going to happen at all. That one got KO'd earlier on. You're coming up with some doozies there, buddy. Brits Abroad with a super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Love that. And he says, hi Adam, I've been meaning to ask, have you read World's Biggest Cash Machine? I was listening to the guy who was talking about this the other day. No, I've not. It's about Manchester United's takeover from the Glazers and how it unfolded and what was the cause. An amazing read and highly recommended. I did the audio book. Yeah, do you know what? I have been told about that one. I have heard a lot of people talking about it on the radio as well. It's something I will definitely look at and get into. Thank you again for the super chat, mate. I think I'll just go and get that now with that super chat, actually. Cheers for that, buddy. Another super chat in from Glenn. This probably won't surprise you, but I found the word Rasmus was a banned word on super chats on another channel. Really? That cannot be true. Oh, my. Surely not. And no striker equals no goals, says Alien. I beg to differ, mate. I look at 36 between Cunha and Mbeumo and think, yeah, there's goals there. There's more than enough there. I look at hopefully a fit season for Ahmad. There's goals there. And Bruno also added to them other players that are bringing you goals. There's more goals there. I do think Man United will have their best goal scoring season in the last 5 years. I'm going to say that now, next season. I really do. In the Premier League, that is. And I will gladly take the L if I'm wrong, obviously. No, I won't gladly take it because that means that United didn't score a lot of goals and we failed again. But I cannot see Man United not scoring more goals next season. Let's get a few more comments in on this as well. Pile in, everybody, please. Just get a striker on loan and wait until next season if nothing stands out. What striker, Alex? Everyone keeps coming up with these comments. We need to get the best striker. This striker's not the right striker. Nobody's coming up with the obvious answer to that, though. It's like we need to loan a striker in. Who? Who is going to accept a loan from Manchester United? Like I said, who is going to help United out by loaning us? Anyone right now for nothing, basically. Nobody's going to do it. Everybody wants United to stay where they are. None of our rivals are going to give us anything. United are going to have to do this the hard way. And like I said before, they're going to have to graft out this summer and set the stall out to show everybody that United are not going to be the whipping boys when it comes to pricing and getting money out of us for deals. We're going to have to stand firm with these players in the ones that we know we've got value in. But I feel like that comes in the next line of transfer windows for us. We cannot expect teams to come in and pay Manchester United big money for the players that we know we need to move out. We can't expect that to happen anymore because these players have proved that they are not the players that Manchester United thought they were, that we bigged up, that we made a big deal out of, that we said we're going to be the next best thing at the club and take us forward. They've proved us wrong. And nobody's going to pay big money for them, except that the investment that we're putting into our academy now, the investment that we're putting into our players now in the transfer window that we're bringing in, these are the ones that we need to be judging properly. These are the ones that Manchester United need to get right so we can show everybody that we're moving on. He's got my name banned too. I didn't know that. Right, let's check through everything else that's going on right now. It's going to flick through the news and what is actually happening around the football club. Again, there is more news regarding potential money coming in. Now, we spoke about Alvaro Fernandez earlier on, and we talked about him being on his way to Real Madrid, bringing United 7.7 million. Manchester United could be in line for a transfer windfall with the latest reports surrounding the future of Anthony Elanga. This is the headline in the Telegraph. The winger left United for Nottingham Forest back in the summer of 2023. He is now subject of interest of Newcastle United. Finally getting a bid accepted, by the way, for James Trafford. The Telegraph claims that the Magpies are willing to pay at least 50 million for the player. If that is the case, the sell-on clause could see United land a windfall of around 7 million. If Forest hold out for Anthony Elanga, we could be set to earn, because I think they want more. I think they've got a price set at about 60 to 65 million. Can they get Newcastle up a bit more? Because Newcastle need a forward. They're trying to get a forward. Now, that could be brilliant business for Manchester United right there. And just in Alvaro Fernandez and Anthony Elanga alone, our academy is starting to fund our transfer window again. And this is pure profit for Manchester United. So Anthony Elanga could get us up to 10 million if Newcastle do indeed pay a lot more. And I think they won't pay more than 50 million. Nottingham Forest are not going to let Elanga go for anything less. If that is the case, then Man United, between Alvaro Fernandez and Anthony Elanga, could be bringing in around 17 million in transfer fees. He's starting to build a little bit of momentum here now. So you think about that, 17 million there. And then you've got the 5 million from Jadon Sancho already. You're over 22. You're there. You're 22 million there in them three players, who really are not doing anything for Manchester United. We haven't sold anyone. We're actually going to be getting more for players that are not playing for us anymore than we are players that are actually in our squad. It goes to show, doesn't it? Like, we get more for Alvaro Fernandez and we get more for Anthony Elanga than the players we're looking to sell who are actually registered on our books at the moment. It's just crazy. But no, it's forward thinking, and obviously these sell-on clauses are definitely going to be big when it comes to what's happening with Manchester United's transfer budget. They're going to help us out quite a lot. Let's get some more news as well. Regarding the information, someone asked me a moment ago, it was Leon actually, on midfield options. So this is a story that's come out from Caught Offside as well, just going through everything so you're completely up to date. United have made an approach for Inter Milan regarding potential transfer for Davide Fratesi, that player, that passion monster. Basically, according to Caught Offside, the report says that United have contacted the Italian club to gain an understanding of the conditions of any transfer, but are yet to hold formal talks. Inter are said to have dropped their asking price for the player from 50 million euros to 35 million euros, which is 30 million quid, right within Manchester United's budget. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. But United are not alone in their interest, with Tottenham, Atletico Madrid and Roma all also said to be keeping an eye on the situation. Featured quite a lot last season, Fratesi. And that, I feel, is something that, if it is at that price, Manchester United would be interested in. So there you go. There's a little bit of information regarding Manchester United's potential midfield targets and what we might do in bringing a midfielder in. So there you go, Leo. There's the update there. Adam, read my milestone message. The chat wants an answer. Milestone message. I don't know what that is. Or where is that? You're going to have to say it again, mate, so I see it. There's that many chats going through. I can't see them. Remember when it was United is doing things differently? Now it's dragging along as usual. United should have players to pivot to and just move on. They probably do. But the plan was probably in moving other players on as well. But do we want to pivot off BRYAN Mbeumo? We're going to sign him. United don't want to let BRYAN Mbeumo go. They're not going to let him go. The situation here, I think, and it's like what the comments were saying earlier on, I don't think Manchester United are going to actually get... I don't think Manchester United are going to get... they're not going to lose out on BRYAN Mbeumo, I don't think. I don't think they're going to get to a point where they think it's not... they're not able to bring this deal and get it over the line. I think they know they can, and I know they can do it at any point. They're just trying to get as much out of it as they possibly can. Does that make sense? I mean, that's where I think United know that they've got enough there to get this deal done if they need to, and they're just going to try and get it for as minimal as they possibly can. Yeah, I'm still laughing at that super chat in from Glenn there. I know, it is a funny one. If you know, you know. You know, you know. That's all I'll say on that one. By the way, everybody, there was a table that went up earlier on of all of the fan channel YouTube channels and all of their numbers for the month of June. And out of 215 channels, with all of the big guns in there as well, and I mean the big guns, we're actually ranked 8th in views for June out of 215 fan channels. Check that out. I mean, how good is that? If that isn't something to celebrate, then I don't know what is. But massive thank you to you all again for all of your views. Constant interactions and being parts of the show. We do this together, and that there alone shows us if we're 8th out of 215 fan channels, and you know there's some massive channels out there as well. We are smashing numbers out there at the moment. So a massive well done to all of you for supporting the channel as well. Bringing you the news constantly, I think, is a big thing for you all, and I am it's my pleasure to do it. I love it, and you know what? Long may it continue, because we ain't stopping there. We're going to be pushing forward. We want that 90,000 subscriber mark before the season starts. We're not far away. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button as well. Let's get to that 90 mark. And also make sure you put a like on the video. We're creeping up to that mark right now. In fact, 500 is what we usually try to get on every live show through the summer. I think we are getting very, very close to it there now. So please do keep liking the video. Get your comments in, more importantly, as well, everybody. That's the important bit now. So let's have a quick look at everything else which is going down to make sure we haven't missed out on anything. Bear with me a second. Let's have a quick scroll. I always like to check the news while we're actually live in case something does drop on us. Let's see what we've got. There's more and more details coming out about JJ Gabriel as well. Manchester United managing to sign him up to a 2-year deal. Romano was talking about this. Romano knows how big a deal this actually is. I was saying it the other day, like with all of the negative news going around, that is absolutely massive for Manchester United. Absolutely massive. Given the 95 shirts now, he's actually got a squad number shirt as a 14-year-old. Quickly on this, Arsenal are close to reaching a verbal agreement with Sporting striker Victor Gyökeres now. This has come from the keeper. So, yeah, this is what I mean. Manchester United, well clear of this. Apparently, on today, so the Victor Gyökeres saga, so you're well aware, because United are still in this, so we might as well bring it up. Sporting 60 million, £51.5 million, €60 million, £51.4 million. Victor Gyökeres' release clause is active from today, the 1st of July. The official clause is 100 million, but from the 1st of July, any club that makes an offer of at least 60 million euros and Sporting refuses, they will have to compensate the player's agent with 10% of the value. 10% of the value of that offer. Now that is the clause that's in Victor Gyökeres' contract. When we look at everything in this whole Victor Gyökeres saga and everything that's going on, this is why Man United are looking elsewhere. And people say we're not pivoting. We've moved away. We've moved away from the situation which was Victor Gyökeres. We've moved away from Cunha. We don't want to deal with the big wages and the big palaver around Victor Osimhen. We have moved on to the likes of Ollie Watkins right now. Moise Kean. Yes, I don't want Moise Kean. Honestly, I don't. I see what we might be looking at in him in terms of the player's profile and whatnot. But ideally, I think Man United pivoting to Ollie Watkins makes sense for me. I do feel like we're in a position now where we can actually look at players like him. And I feel like we're in a position where the club feel comfortable, but the fans don't. The fans want more, and we should be getting more. But a lot of us, and a lot of people on this channel, you do come over here, we do get a lot of comments coming in that do agree with what I'm saying, with the sensible look on things. Understand that this summer, is nigh on impossible for Manchester United to handle and get a positive outcome in terms of the incomings. I still feel, and that's in a lot of people's opinions overall of this window, I still feel Manchester United can get a positive out of this window. And that positive is in actually getting the two big targets in, which is the ones we're talking about, Cunha and Mbeumo, and then moving the players on that are necessary, and then stealing in maybe 2 or 3 more signings before this window shuts. I don't have a problem with the midfield that we've got right now and the defence that we've got to get through pre-season. I don't think anybody coming into this system is going to need too much time as long as everybody else is working at it and understanding it. We can turn players around that we've already got in this team to work in a Ruben Amorim system. He's going to have more time to work with him, and obviously a full pre-season, and then more time in between games next season. So I said this earlier on today as well, in that Manchester United are looking, and I think the fan base are looking at Ruben Amorim to show us something more. We need to see Ruben change these players. We need to see Ruben get more out of this current squad. Jeffrey, I did just mention that Victor Gyökeres situation. I say put Brentford to the test. Kazi and walk away. Switch to other targets. Even without Mbeumo, we have plenty of options at 10. Xerxes, Bruno, Ahmad. I am depressed, waiting for a new signing. Don't be, Ray. It's a coming, mate. It's a coming. Just to go back to what we were talking about at the top of the show, Manchester United now putting severe pressure on to Brentford to get the BRYAN Mbeumo deal done this week. United are expecting to get this over the line this week. The Daily Mail, Simon Jones talking earlier on today about Manchester United now feeling confident that they can get a deal over the line and finalised for BRYAN Mbeumo this week. That, again, it would be big. I don't see it going past this week. I think internally Manchester United are prepared to flip the bird and tell Brentford where to go. I just don't think they will. I think it will be done this week. And as long as BRYAN Mbeumo walks through the door at Carrington with everybody else for pre-season, no one can really have anything or have anything to moan about. I don't think we can say right now that BRYAN Mbeumo coming into Manchester United before pre-season is a bad thing. I don't care how long it's taken, as long as Man United get that player in and he's available for us going forward now into pre-season. That's all I care about. That is it. And I think it will be done, and I think he will be walking in as well. Again, just them quotes on Diego Leon, by the way. Actually, anyone in here actually think that Diego Leon has got a chance in what he said? That after 2 performances in pre-season, he'll convince Manchester United that he needs to be in the first team. Does anybody think that this kid is actually going to be that good? What price? It will be mental. We are not going for him. We will if we can make it happen, mate. That is something that Man United will do. We have just passed over 500 likes as well, everybody. And there's a load more people just subscribed as well, so love that. Keep them flying in, people. Absolutely smashing it at the moment, like we said. Let's start July off like we finished June by absolutely killing it, people. United need to walk away from Mbeumo and Brentford. He's not even that good. There's better out there. Disagree, Paul. But that's the beauty of a fan debate. Some people think there's a better player. I don't. I think BRYAN Mbeumo and what he brings professionally, and let's not forget, like, he wants to come to Manchester United. It's his dream move, and I'm not saying that's the be-all and end-all, but this is a player that has got a proven track record in the Premier League, which is nigh on impossible to find in a transfer window. He wants to come to United, even with the shit season that we've just had. This is a must for Manchester United. We need to get this deal done, mate. We cannot leave this one. And BRYAN Mbeumo, I think, is Man United's top target anyway, alongside Cunha. Wharton will not be sold for anything less than 85. I won't be surprised if Palace wants 100 million for him. Look, I don't think Adam Wharton will come this summer. United can afford him this summer if they want to. If they really want to push PSR, they can get it done. But again, unless we've got room, they're not going to. See, Manchester United will want 2 players out for every 1 player brought in this summer. And at the moment, we're on 2 players in and nobody out. We need to get rid of another 5 players, 6 players at least, off our roster right now, because it is not going to work for Man United going forward. And Ruben cannot work with that, I don't think, either. I really don't. Roddy says, American, because Liverpool had more money in the bank. It's like people, again, like going on about what Liverpool have done compared to Manchester United. Honestly, you just have to have a look at the situation of both clubs and then you'll understand. But what we've got there is this financial year, don't forget, is the same as last summer's because they've extended it by a month. So anybody who didn't spend anything last summer, i.e. Liverpool, I've got a complete advantage over every other club going up to this date, which is 1st of July. That extra month for June added on to this calendar for the financial year is absolutely massive. And I just feel like people just need to remember that. And I've been going on about that constantly, but no one seems to be paying attention to it. And they're still coming at me and saying and using Liverpool as an example as to how it should be done. Yeah, if you're up there, Liverpool are acting exactly how a club that's competing at the highest level should be. Improving on the squad after winning a big major trophy. United are not winning trophies. We're not even challenging for major trophies. And we're still getting players in that all of these clubs that are doing massive numbers in the transfer window would take. Would Cunha go in at City? Yes. Would Mbeumo? Yes. Would he go in at Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea? Yes, yes and yes. And we all know they would. And we've got them. Cunha turned Arsenal down. Mbeumo turns Arsenal down. Both turned Newcastle down. Comes to United. We are not doing bad, people. We're really not. So I think that is something that we do need to remember. Liverpool had an advantage. So did City, so did Chelsea. The fact that the numbers just came up today. The City have taken 37 million out of the Club World Cup. 37 million straight into the bank account. If they'd have won that game against Al Hilal, that would have gone up by 10 million. In fact, they'd have been up near 100 million if they got to the final. That's how big that is. And that's extra money coming in on top of a club that's already got Champions League money as well. United haven't, and they've still got them two players in the door. Bang. Well, we hope in the door, because BRYAN Mbeumo is just tinkering on the edge of completion right now. And that's where we'll finish the show, everybody. I'm going out, got training to do. I just want to say again, massive thank you to everybody. We are smashing the numbers at the moment, and you have all put an absolute immense effort in. I will keep on bringing the content, keep putting a smile on things, trying to be as positive as I possibly can while being real at the same time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you, everyone who has dropped your comments in there, even if you're disagreeing with me. It's still good. Thank you, everyone. I will see you all first thing in the morning, unless anything happens late tonight. As always, I'll be there. But until then, have a great evening, everybody. Please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you then. 8 o'clock tomorrow.